Welcome back to Sunrise. John and Kendra Smiley joining us on the couches. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, let's get to our question of the day. Last night we ate out and my daughter didn't behave well. It was really embarrassing. What can we do to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, that's a great idea, not to let it happen again. I think one of the things that happens is that parents get the idea that kids are just supposed to know how to behave. So first of all, you have to be proactive. And you've got to teach your kids what are the appropriate behaviors. And it really needs to be age appropriate. Too many times I've seen little kids that are expected to sit stoically after they finish, and that's really not realistic.
No, not at all.
And maybe not a best place to take a child if they're forced to sit stoically after they've finished their meal. So I think let them know what the expectations are. Let them know what the consequences will be. And we know that there are some children who are about a half a step ahead of their parents, and so they're at a restaurant they don't want to be at anyway, and they go, let's see, Dad said if I act up we are going to leave right away. All right.
Yeah.
So you got to be smarter than your child, and then just encourage them in those behaviors, whatever the appropriate behaviors are.
Right, and I think some other things that we can do is practice at home.
Right.
A lot of times parents don't practice at home. The kids are out of control, if you will, at home, and so then they expect them to behave differently at a restaurant. Not good. Practice at home. Have the kids have good manners at home. Pick your restaurants wisely. Don't take your kids to a restaurant where you have to sit and wait an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, there are different restaurants. We can go and have nice, a nice experience, but know that your kids are probably not going to want to wait for their food for 45 minutes. And the other thing that I think a lot of parents forget when you're in a restaurant, that a lot of times we're talking with one another or talking with adults, and all you have to do is sit your kid on your lap and color with them,
right,
or something like that. Entertain them, talk to them, because it's hard. That's just a hard situation. And so there are a lot of different things that we can do as parents, but I think one of the things that Kendra said that was so important in this instance, and that's be proactive.
Right.
Think about these things ahead of time, and like this mom, I mean, very good. We don't want this to happen again. How can we do something to keep this from happening?
One of the things that we purpose to do, of course our kids are all adults now, but we wanted them to understand what's appropriate when you're eating a hot dog around a campfire, and what's appropriate when you get to a restaurant and there are multiple forks.
Right.
Which fork do you use? And so we tried to give them both of those, or the whole continuum of those experiences, so they'd know, because manners are different when you're around a campfire.
Right. Absolutely. When my mom was growing up, it was always, how would we behave if the Queen of England came?
All right.
And when we were growing up,
when
we were growing up, it was how would you behave if the First Lady was here? So
That's
those are
right.
things that you got to keep in mind.
Right.
Well, I guess no, my mom knew your grandma.
There you go.
Because she said exactly the same thing. That's right.
All right, great advice as always. And remember, if you have a question for John and Kendra, send it over to their website, parentinglikeapro.com. And if we answer it on air, you'll get a free copy of one of their books. Thanks so much.
Thank you.